guys, winter is bullshit. Look at all the salt on my poor car. It's one dirty motherfucking car. Look at this. This is what we have to deal with up here in New York. Some bullshit. So today I'm gonna go to my favorite automatic car wash. Completely touchless. So yeah, sorry to trick you guys last time. Didn't get into an accident or anything, just my poor planning. I did not clear my memory card before recording that video. So of course the memory card filled up halfway through recording and it stopped recording, and I thought my battery died. Then I realized it was the memory card, which is even worse because an extra battery, you know, wouldn't even help that. So yeah, just gonna go ahead and get a car wash now, get all that salt off my poor car. It's gonna get really loud in here, so I'm probably gonna end up pausing the video recording while I'm in here. Oh yeah, get that undercarriage. Oh yeah, right in the undercarriage. Fuck yeah. Come on. Yeah. And we will return shortly. Oh yeah, nice clean car. Now it's time to get some dinner and get my ass home. It's getting late out here. Woo! I apologize if my voice seems a little bit off and I'm a little hoarse. I've had a cold for the last couple of days. Kind of sucks, but you know, what can you do? Went to a party and like one girl there was sick and freaking everybody got a cold. Caught whatever she had. It's nothing major, like I said, it's just a cold, but I apologize if my voice is a little off. So today I was going to talk about my opinion on motorcycles versus cars, you know, what I think is more fun, which one I would, the pros and cons between the two, and yada yada yada. Basically, I think they're both very fun. You know, I hear a lot of times when guys get into bikes, you know, they lose their interest in cars, or a lot of car guys just have no interest in bikes, which is how I used to kind of be before I got a bike. I always thought they're kind of cool, but like I never really cared that much for them, and I was always a car guy. And then when I got my bike, for maybe a couple months, I started to think that maybe I wouldn't care about cars that much anymore. But they really are just completely different. Like cars and bikes, they're two completely different experiences. So like I still enjoy driving my car almost as much as riding the bike. Now I will say that I do like riding the bike a little bit more generally, if I have the option to. But the car is a lot of fun still. And a big part of that fun comes from the fact that in a car, you have a little bit more protection and you have a little bit more margin of error. So you can kind of push yourself a little bit harder in the car and not worry about, you know, crashing and eating shit. Or even if you do crash, you're probably not going to be, you know, maimed or killed or anything like that. You have a lot less risk of bodily injury basically in a car. So in that regard, I do like driving more because I can feel like I can push the car a lot harder without worrying as much. But in general, I do have a little bit more fun on the bike, generally speaking, although there's times where like in the summer I'll ride my bike for a few days straight I won't drive the car, and I'll actually be like dying to get back in the car and drive it again. So I mean, I do enjoy, shut the fuck up, radar detector. Sorry, that radar detector has been pissing me off. But yeah, so I do still enjoy both. Like I said, the main difference being the extra margin of error you get on a bike. If you're, let's say, flying around a corner, which, let's face it, in a car or a bike, the most fun thing is going to be cornering and really testing yourself on the corners and through twisties. Anyone can go fast in a straight line. Although, honestly, brutal acceleration is fun every now and again. But if you're going through some twisties or whatnot, on a bike, you hit some gravel or some sand or some shit, you're going down if you're anywhere near the edge of the bike's traction. Hell, even if you're only pushing the bike a bit, you're going down. In a car, there's a very low chance you're going to crash unless you're really at the limit when you hit a bunch of sand. And even then, you can usually recover from it. Because like on a bike, you lose traction for a split second, you're washing out. Your tires lose traction and you go down. On a car, if you slip a little bit, you don't go down, you start sliding and you have less traction, but it's not like your car just like tumbles over. So you can recover. And then even if you don't recover, you still have that cage around you. So you're still safe. And I will be right back, guys. I'm gonna grab some dinner and then finish this video. All right, guys, I'm back and I have dinner. Probably gonna chat on some bread actually while I'm driving, so don't mind it if you can hear some chewing noises. Take this back way out of here. This place is very good, by the way. It's called Core Life Eatery. If you guys live out, I think this place is only in the Northeast right now. I'm not sure, but I think this is like the only restaurant, and they're opening more up around here. There's no laser. Calm down. There is no laser. I promise you. But it's a very good restaurant. Everything is organic and all natural. They basically have really good salads. And of course, this guy's going to be a dick. But basically, they have like salads and grains and bone broth and stuff. And it's a stereotypical hipster place, but it actually is really good. This freaking radar detector is really mucking up my groove here. But anyway, it's a really good place. Not to get off on a tangent, completely off topic. It's just very good, very healthy option if you want something. The prices are very reasonable too. Like it's like $9 for a salad, but they're really, really big salads with a lot of different nutrition, and they taste really good. So, highly recommend you guys check it out. If any of you guys, you know, live around here. Good bread. Yeah, you get free bread with it too. Small little piece. It's almost a joke. But yeah, it's nice, I guess. But yeah, to get back to the topic. Cars versus motorcycles. So like I said, I do generally, if I have the option on a nice day, I will take the motorcycle out. There are days where I just kind of crave driving the car, but now the main differences between the two is on a bike. This thing really needs to shut up. Not sure if you guys can hear it as loud as I can because I have the mic on me, so I don't know if you're really hearing the radar detector that much. But on a bike, it's a lot more open. It's a lot more of a raw, visceral feel. It's like you on top of a motor, basically. Is the best way to describe it. You're literally like part of the engine, just flying down the road. And it's very visceral, and it's honestly pretty scary at first. Like, I remember when I first started riding, I mean, I'm not afraid to admit that I started on kind of a big bike. It's not a super sport, but I started on my Yamaha FZ6R. It's a 600cc sport touring bike based on the R6. And it's basically, it's kind of like an R6, but it's a little bit slower. They say they retuned it, but they actually detuned the engine, basically. It has a little bit more torque on the low end, but a lot less power on the top end. But I mean, even so, it's still a 600 sport bike, and it still will do 0 to 60 in something like 4 point something seconds, quarter mile in like 12. that's slow for a sport bike, but that's not slow for a car. That's a lot faster than my car, for example. It's a lot faster than most cars out there. And so when I first started riding the thing, I was honestly, when I opened it up, even in like 6th gear, just opening the throttle, it honestly like almost terrified me. Not terrified me, but it really surprised me, and like I was afraid that I wouldn't be able to control it very well. I mean, once I got used to it, I was opening the throttle up left and right. I mean, now the bike's nothing to me. I don't mean it's nothing to me like I don't like it. I just mean it doesn't feel that fast to me anymore now that I'm used to it. But yeah, I mean, it's a very, you feel very vulnerable on a bike, but at the same time you have a lot of control. So you can maneuver very quickly on a bike to, avoid obstacles or avoid a car that doesn't see you talking on their cell phone. But overall, you definitely pay a lot more attention riding than you do driving. You don't tend to find yourself distracted much because you really can't afford to be distracted, if you know what I mean. Which is awesome because it gets you a lot more involved, but it also, sometimes it is nice just to, relax and cruise with the windows down, blasting music. But yeah, gets into the next thing. Performance-wise, cars versus bikes. Generally, a sport bike that can be had for used under 10 grand easily, sometimes less than 5 grand. You can get a brand new high-end leader bike, which is a 1000cc sport bike, for around 15 grand. And those things will outperform 99.999% of cars on the street. You literally need a supercar to keep up with one in a straight line. In straight line acceleration and even cornering, a sport bike will outpace most cars on the road that you can buy. However, cars generally do have an advantage in corners and tight corner tracks and braking, just because, I mean, they have 4 wheels, they have 4 tires. So they have a much bigger contact patch with the road. And I forgot, maybe I'll put a link to it in the description. I probably honestly won't. You guys can find it. One YouTube channel that I follow, they actually did a comparison with a sports car versus a bike. I think they did a GTR versus a 1000. I forgot which bike it was. It might have actually even been a Ducati. But either way, they did a comparison on a tight track, and yeah, the bike every straightaway would get a huge lead on the car, but every corner, because the car had better brakes, it could brake later into the corner, and because it had 4 tires, it could grip harder through the corners. It would always pull ahead. And basically overall, the GTR was faster on a tight track than the sport bike. And I mean, they had a good rider too. He was getting all the way down. He was getting right on the edge of the tires. I mean, he was leading the bike all the way over. So it wasn't even like they had a bad rider on the bike. They actually had a professional. I think they even had I think he was a MotoGP rider. So generally on a tight track, a really high-end car will outperform a bike. But I mean, your average car probably won't even outperform a bike, even with all 4 tires. I'm talking sport bikes here, obviously. Cruisers are going to be different. They're not going to have the same performance characteristics. I'm sure they're plenty of fun. There's a reason why a lot of people ride them. Not my cup of tea. I prefer something light with a high power to weight ratio. Crotch rockets, as they call them. But that's just me. I honestly feel safer on a crotch rocket because, yeah, I can do stupider things on it, but I also have the added ability of being able to power out of situations more easily, have better handling so I can avoid obstacles or avoid people or other cars, and I have better brakes so I can stop faster. So honestly, I think sport bikes are safer, assuming all else is equal and you're not flogging them, which, I mean, if you're riding one, you probably are going to, but ignoring that detail, they're safer. So yeah, for the price, for what you get out of the thing, you do get a lot more performance out of a motorcycle than you do a car. There's no denying that. But you do have a lot less safety, and bikes also have a lot more maintenance too. Like on a car, okay, you change the oil, do brakes every once in a while, I mean, depending on how hard you drive your car, if you go to the track a lot and you beat the crap out of it, you're going to want to do coolant flushes and different fluid flushes, and you're going to be doing the brakes and the clutch more often. But generally, on a road car, you're not going to be doing a ton of maintenance until they get older. Whereas on a bike, you're supposed to like flush the coolant every like 2 years or something, or every 8,000 miles. You got to clean the chain if you have a chain drive bike, which pretty much all sport bikes are. You've got to change the tires very often. Like sport tires, if you ride them hard, you're lucky to get like 5,000 or 6,000 miles out of them. Usually you'll get 3,000 to 4,000 miles out of a rear tire on a high power sport bike. So you're going to be going through tires a lot more. What else is there? I feel like there's something else about the bike that's more maintenance. Chain and sprockets tend to go a lot if you have a high power bike. And that's not necessarily true. A lot of people don't maintain them very well. Again, that goes back to the chain cleaning. There's something else I'm missing about the bike's maintenance. Oh yeah, valve adjustment. Since when have you ever had to have your car's valves adjusted? Like, that's something that you don't hear of nowadays. Well, on a sport bike, depending on the make and model, you might have to have them adjusted as early as like 12,000 miles. You have to have your valve timing checked. Which, I mean, when you have an engine that revs out to like 15,000 RPM, that's understandable, but it's still crazy to think that you have to have your valve timing actually checked on your engine. I mean, you don't think about that when you have a car. Anyways, guys, that's pretty much it. Can't think of anything else off the top of my head. Between bikes and cars, like I said, cars do generally have a slight advantage in the handling and sharp corners and braking, assuming you have a good car. Like, I'm sure a sport bike's actually even better than my car in a lot of ways, because my car is not really like a high-end sports car. Oh, this guy's trying to fuck with me. Nope. Uh-oh, K-band. K-band. Ah, shit, I took the traffic route. Ah, shit. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much what I wanted to cover. I actually re-recorded this video because I forgot to say a bunch of shit last time, and then I was just going to record more shit, and then I realized my camera angle was set up really badly last time, so I actually re-recorded this video. So I may or may not have missed a couple of things because I might have, said some things in the last video that I wanted to say in this one. So, I mean, I might have forgotten some details between cars and bikes, and if that's the case, if I missed enough detail, I'll probably make another video in the future covering all of that. But regardless, let me know what you guys think. If any of you guys ride motorcycles on my channel, let me know what you think, if you like cars or bikes better, or if you like both just as equally, or hell, you might hate both of them. If you do, I don't know why you're watching my channel, but maybe you just don't like motor vehicles at all. I don't know. But that's pretty much it, guys. You guys take it easy, and I'll see you around. Adios. Uh-oh, guys, what's going on up here? Some kind of shit's going down. Maybe you guys will get some bonus content. Hopefully this bonus content doesn't come at the expense of somebody else's, well-being. Oh, never mind. It looks like someone just got pulled over. Oh, wow, they're in a fuck ton of trouble. Maybe it is an accident. There's two of them.